All right, Parasha Lech Lecha. In the last 2 weeks, since the beginning of the Torah, we have defined one characteristic, yes, one characteristic that is one of the midas a person should absolutely hug in order to be able to navigate in this world, especially after what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm just going to be able to touch a very, very deep subject, but I'm going to mention it no matter what. In other words, the Torah is going to tell us in details 4 Ostrogoths are fighting 5 Ostrogoths like we care, cannibals, prehistoric kings or whatever it is. And what the heck? What, Avram is going to beat them up? Very good. The Torah didn't record the first 75 years, the first 75 years of Avram, 600 years of Noach, big tzaddikim, 80 years of Moshe Rabbeinu when he was king of Midian. And you want to tell me that you're going to record here in detail what 4 prehistoric kings are beating up on 5 prehistoric kings? What do we care about them? What do we care about the cities? They don't even exist, these cities. The name of those cities never existed. It's all remazim. So what's the point? Torah starts with a very strange, the Parasha starts with a very strange quote. Lech Lecha, so much ink has been spilled on the explanation of these 2 words. I'm just going to offer as an introduction to our shir, which is going to be today the midah of tzedek. We saw emes, the yashrus, not to be a mekabel last week. Now we're going to see the midah of tzedek and what it does. So Lech Lecha, the Ari HaKadosh says, Torah never says stories. So what? Story of tribulations of Abraham, that he came from Haran and he left his father behind. And what exactly is the message here? The Ari HaKadosh says, you know what Abraham is? Abraham is a neshama. Why is Abraham the neshama? Because Abraham elevated himself. His neshama was as pure, if not purer, when he went back as when he came before. So the name of your neshama, each one of you, is Avraham. When this neshama called Avraham departs the skies, it's called Lech Lecha. And he leaves Shamayim, he leaves a place he knows, he comes to a world which is rugged, full of lies. And we're gonna go, I just wanted to show you a very interesting way to see to illustrate the words of the Ari HaKadosh. I don't know if you can see well what it says here, but if you see Lech Lecha, if you open the letters, Lamed spelled in full, Lamed Mem Dalet.
Pull it back a little bit, it's too close to the screen.
Can you see?
Much better.
Okay, Lech is Lamed Chaf. If you spell out the letters, Lamed Mem Dalet Chaf Pei equals 124. So you do the same thing on the other Lecha. It's another 124. Together, it's 248 equals Avram. Interesting hint. In those words, the first two in the name of the Parasha, Lech Lecha, is hinted the name of Avram Avinu. So why? I understand we're talking about very, very important things. The neshama coming down. All right, tell me the whole story about neshama coming down. Don't miss out 75 years, of its life on earth. Avram fighting, denying Nimrod, jumping in the furnace. Very important facts. Why they're not spelled out in the Torah? They would be, I think they're more important, and you would agree with me, than Amraphel, that Kedola Omer, fighting names that you never heard and you will never hear again. Aryach Melech Elasa, like, what do we care, honestly? So why is it mentioned? But Avram Avinu, with its act of bravery, in front of Nimrod at 3 years old, he is not mentioned in the Torah. We have to learn it from the Midrash. Let's start with the Zohar. It's a beautiful, I'm not going to pound you on the Zohar this week a lot, but beauty over beauty over beauty of a Zohar that gives you the flashlight you need when you're in the darkness, and also the path how to come back to get out of the tunnel. The Zohar is going to offer two explanations on the Pasuk Lech Lecha me'artzecha. Both explanations have nothing to do with the Pasuk, as we're going to see. And it's amazing that the introduction of the Zohar is Lech Lecha me'artzecha, and the Zohar says, I will explain the Pasuk, and it gives you two explanations. Actually, it's a machloikes between Rabbi Chi and Rabbi Abba, but it's still two explanations. And neither of them explain no words of the Pasuk, but they're beautiful. So let's go for it. The Zohar says, brings the Pasuk to explain Lech Lecha, a Pasuk in Yeshaya. The Yeshaya said to the people of Israel, Shimu elai abir elev. Listen to me, brazen hearts. People that are brazen, people that are very strong. Abire defined strength. So abir elev is very strong hearts. Who are they? He says Yeshaya, Hareshaim ha'achzarim. The Reshaim that have no pity. Harechoikim mitzedaka. They run away from tzedakah. They don't want to do tzedakah and chesed. These are the people called Abir Elev, the Reshaim. And do you see any connection to the pasuk Lech Lecha me'artzecha? We're talking about good things. All of a sudden, we fall down into the reprimands of Yeshaya to Am Yisrael in the time when it was not our best time. What's the connection? Anyway, the Zohar takes on this. Rabbi Abba keeps on saying, he says, how hard is your heart? That tzedakah is the essential, the cornerstone of the world, and you run away from it, from life. What is tzedakah, says the Zohar, according to Rabbi Abba, is the Torah. The true tzedakah is the Torah. The Torah is the cornerstone of the world. So the Reshaim are Chzarim, it's people that run away from Torah. Okay, first pshat. Chizkiah says, no, that's not the pshat. Is Kutsha B'richu, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the cornerstone of the world. And people that distance themselves from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, these are hard-hearted people, and these people will be met by the fate. Why? Because tzedakah is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu provides everything, so that's how he learns his. Okay, so basically two opposite pshatim. One pshat tells me tzedakah is the Torah, You don't go in the path of Torah, you're in the path of darkness. Don't ask question why you're in your tunnel. Don't ask question why there's no light down there, why you're banging your head on the walls. Second shot is, no, this only happens to someone who distances himself from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Shalom la Reshaim Amar Hashem. There's no Shalom to Reshaim, no matter what you do. And if you think you're successful in your life is unsettled. All right. Can't see any connection whatsoever in this pshat. Lech Lecha Ma'atzecha, we're talking about Avraham Avinu, who's very misericordious, who did chesed with everyone. He has the midah of chesed. He became the Merkava, the chariot of the chesed on which the chesed lies. It's just the opposite. So why are you explaining me? What are you trying to tell me? If you want to tell me that HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished Avram by being in Galus, going away from his land in order to teach him Torah, because Torah can only come through pain. That's unfortunately the only way. Torah is not a science. Torah is not going to be learned by people that are smart or people that don't. The Netziv had a lot of people not liking him in his time because he was not gifted. He was not an Ilui. He was not known for Ilui. But he ran the yeshiva of Volozhin for over 30 years. So he ran the yeshiva of Volozhin for 30 years and people were not happy. They felt Rabbanos only can go to people who are extremely gifted Iluim. And the Netziv explained his way, very simple. Day after day, don't give up. One day Hashem opens the gates. And when he opens them, it's floodgates. You're going to be flooded. And then you're brought up to the level beyond the Iluim. But here, so there's a pasuk for this in Tehillim. Ashrei HaGever. David HaMelech says that a person should praise if HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him Yisurim, and you taught him Torah. These Yisurim are worthy. That would be more a fitting pasuk for, but not Lech Lecha, in the Zohar. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, so there's a three-way machlokes. Abchia says Galus is only mechaper half the sins. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu cursed Cain, it says V'haisa navanad. You're always gonna be on the ways. You're never gonna be able to settle. Cain, when in Galus, Vayeshev beretz noid. He was able to cancel the curse. Another example, when he says to the king Nechoniah, Yirmiyah told him that you will die without children, replacing you on the throne of Israel, of Israel, on the Malchus. It says in Divrei Hayamim, Uvnei Nechoniah, and the children of Nechoniah, he had 7 boys. Why? He went in Galus. The way to cancel a Gzera is to suffer, as we said in the pasuk. The last story I'm going to bring, it's a very tiny piece. Avraham Avinu came close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No one forced him. He came with his own mind. He deducted that it's impossible that these Avodah Zarah, human-made Avodah Zarah, China-made Avodah Zarah, could benefit any person. He understood that they could not create, they can move, they could have not created the sun, they could have not created the moon, they could have not created the sky, they could have not created earth. And Avraham Avinu is defined in the Zohar, Ahavtat Tzedek, you loved justice, Vatisna Resha, and you hated not fakeness. Resha is like a pesha, is when you scorn mischief. We see that what defines really the word that is common in the previous Zohar and this Zohar is the word tzedek. The previous Zohar was just stating that people that are brazen to go away from tzedakah, they brought a pasuk, it says tzedek. Here Avram is praised because of tzedek. Is the Zohar telling me something that I don't see yet? Basically about being just, being honest, not being scared to say the truth. Oh, I'm going to lose, I'm going to get a shame from this person. Don't be scared. The truth, always acceptable. I didn't do my best, then apologize. But don't go away from the truth. Don't go away from tzedek. Tzedek is the only guarantee you have not to be in the tunnel like 99.9% of the people, including all the rich people. So we're going to see if we have time. I'm going to bring you to something. No, I'm probably not going to have time, but just wanted to give you a perspective what life is about. And so here we're going to see it pretty clearly. We see Avram got close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu at two levels. First of all, he stayed away from bad, and he did good. He was how? He was doing chesed with every human being. He was spreading the name of Hashem to every person. He was harboring very hard with every person in order to instill into him the trust of Hashem, you know, the existence of Hashem and trusting in Hashem and so forth. The second midah we see from here is Avraham Avinu. There's a din, someone who comes to purify himself. We help him in order that it should be even more pure. So not only you judge according to your efforts, but no, you're going to be rewarded way beyond your efforts, because someone who wants to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mamish pulls you so much closer that you don't even understand how you got there. And basically, this is also what these two reasons are basically the machlokes Rabbi Chia and Rabbi. I don't want to make lumdus here, but when Rabbi says tzedakah is toward others. It's the first reason of Abraham that was doing good to others. Rabbi Chia took as the most important, so they both agree at the end of the day that to me, this by what they just discuss which one is the most important. Getting closer to Hashem, it's two different ways of avodah toward HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It depends on the person. Nobody can tell you, do this, it's more important. No, it's according to your neshama. It's according to where your Avraham, where it's coming from. You're going to be pulled more toward one or toward another. And you have to accept this. Now, the question still remains on that Zohar, because really Abirei Lev, it's a very good term. It denotes the person having so much strength that he could do anything he wants. But a Rasha, what do you call him? What do you give him a title that's basically denotes good features, good midas? You should call him En Shalom LaReshaim Am Hashem. Hashem said there's no shalom to Reshaim. Why do you call them Abirei Lev? When we call the man Lechem Abirim. Abirim, the touch is Malachim. Abirei means Malachim. Wow. Abirei Lev, so you call those guys who don't do tzedakah, who don't follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Malachim. This is amazing. Why do you give them such a title, and at the end of the day, you're telling me that they're not good? Call them Reshaim. Abirei Lev. You remember the story with the Oirev last week? He was 16 times Tov. The value of Oirev is 272, was 16 times Tov, and we defined that even though he was 16 times Tov, it's missing only one time Tov to be complete. But since he was a Mekabel, he wanted to receive, this ruined even the 16 good midas he had. But despite that, there's a lot we learn from the Oirev in good midas. Here, when you take Abirei Lev, it's 255. 255 is 15 times Tov. Yud K, Shem of Hashem. times toiv, good. Just to show you that it really means a great title. It means like these people have tremendous powers. They have a tremendous level. But despite that, they follow the Yetzer Hara, like the Oirev. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he created this world, he says, Ana em loich. There's no king without people, without a nation. Therefore, I created a nation, and I'm going to be their king. But some people come and says, you know what? I want to be the king. Automatically, he falls into the abysses. As soon as a person starts feeling the center of the room, the center of the discussion, the center of the people, the most important, and he compares himself, and Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera in Pituchei Choisam explained that it's happening in Beis Midrash. I learn better than you. My vote is better than you. It doesn't only apply by people who work in business or so forth. It applies at every level in life. If you drag yourself to the center, you become like the crow, like the raven. And at that point, you are a person with tremendous capacities, but 255 equals also ein tzedek. You're not a just person anymore. You are into the abyss. So we see on one hand, the bad people, the Reshaim, is because they lost tzedek, justice, being honest. On the other hand, Avraham Avinu is praised because, and he was rewarded, whatever he was rewarded because of tzedek. That's basically the conclusion that we can take from the Zohar. Tzedek is the pedestal to anywhere you want to go in life. It's the sulam. It's the ladder. It's the first rung of the ladder. You want to go up on the ladder, you need to have tzedek. Then you need to have emes. You need to have yashrus. So and so forth. How do I know that? I'm giving you things like conclusion that may be just because I'm forced to conclude that way because there's Zohar. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove you that there's no other possibility of answer in this. What did the pasuk says? Avram, you got rewarded. Why the Zohar says, "Ahavta tzedek"? The pasuk in Tehillim. You love justice. Ahavta tzedek equals 602. It's 7 times the name Elohim. 7 times 86 equals 602. Now, why 7 times? Because this world is only the 7 Reki'in. So why is the name Elohim involved in here? Because he took away all the dinim. He removed all the possible dinim. And therefore, only good, only chesed remains. Once you remove the dinim, cannot be in Xera anymore. Who is in the dinim? The Yetzer Hara. What is the pasuk says in Kriyat Shema? Bechol levavecha. The first tnai, the first condition to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bechol levavecha. What do Chazal explain? Bechol levavecha, bishnei yitzrecha, with your 2 yitzarim, Yetzer HaTov and Yetzer Hara. In other words, serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the Yetzer HaTov, it's not sufficient. That's not called serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the Yetzer Hara, when you raised him, says the Ari HaKadosh, to the level of neshama, that he rushes you to go serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he became a Malach Kadosh. Now you have different powers than the Yetzer HaTov doesn't have, that you can apply to the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you are at a level, you know what tzedek, you know what justice is, but you are at the level, since the Yetzer Hara now became your ally, you turn your Yetzer Hara into a Malach Kadosh, as the Lashon of the Ari HaKadosh says, you turn him into a neshama, then you have no more Yitzhara. So there's no one to be mekatreg on. There's no more dinim. So you remove the 7 times Eloikim. That's Ahafta Tzedek. Once the person goes on the road, starts the road of Tzedek, at the end, you will remove all the stumble blocks called dinim. You will beat your Yetzirah, but the road starts with Tzedek. Don't come on the sideways, says, I'm lying here and then. No, it's not going to happen. You have to be amnestic. Now, when Moshe Rabbeinu blessed Yehuda, he said, Shema Hashem kol Yehuda. HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to the voice of Yehuda. Are you going to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu what to do? Or is he going to help if you are? HaKadosh Baruch Hu works with din. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So if you are 3, you're not at 4. If you're at 4. So what do you mean Shema Hashem kol Yehuda? Moshe Rabbeinu tied up the tefillah of Yehuda to his great-grandfather Avraham, because Shema Hashem kol Yehuda equals also 602. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu reveals, once you're on the path of tzedek, your tefillahs are answered. Your tefillahs I heard by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears your tefillahs, he answers them. What's the trick now? So one thing we saw, the advantage of one of the values of tzedek is to remove the dinim, so no one can be mekatreg on you. The second thing we see, you daven for something, it happens because HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then the pasuk says, "Meshachacha Eloikim Eloikecha." HaKadosh Baruch Hu anointed you. What do you mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu anointed you? A lot of midrashim says, that Avram became a melech because you anoint a melech. I'm not into going yes, no. This is going to be the next thing, basically lead we're going to follow. We had Tzedek. The second lead is because Meshachacha Eloikim Eloikecha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed Avram Mevarchecha Baruch, equals the same value, 520. What's under, why is Avram blessed? Anyone will that bless him is blessed, because Avram is the chesed. The chesed is someone who never takes anything from no one. You give me, I return right away, even more than you give me. That's chesed. What's chesed? Oh, you're not a nice guy to me? I'm still a nice guy to you, like Hillel Azaken. That's chesed. Chesed is not I'm nice to the people that are nice to me. That's easy. That's only using the Yetzer HaTov. No, you have to use the Yetzer Hara. And that's why Avram Avinu was called Oyer HaBoiker. After the night, after the dinim, that the world went through with the Mabul and everything, the first light that shines, the new light that knows HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Avram, and it's called, remember those words, we're going to use them, Oyer HaBoiker, the light of the morning, which is equal to 520. Mevarchecha Baruch, because light shines on everyone. It shines on the person you like or on the person you don't like. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu told, I forgot where it was brought down in the Zohar, that he wanted to shut up the lights. It was Eliyahu Navi, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you see me, I don't have that midah. I shine on the tzaddik, but I shine on the rasha also. That's the midah. And so tzedek brings you a level, not only justice, you find yourself understanding that chesed is not just helping someone that basically close to you or did you favor or whatever. No, chesed is actually characterized by helping someone who doesn't like you, and he's a time of need. That's why the Torah, when he gives the example of helping, when you see the donkey of your enemy that falls down under its weight, azoiv ta'azoiv imoy, and the Gemara says, you have to help even 100 times. That's breaking the midah. That's justice. That's the justice that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves. And after that, you turn people into loving people. So we know that, yeah, Avram is going to go from there, and he's going to go fight the 4 kings that have beaten up the 5 kings and taken Lot for hostage. The Ari HaKadosh, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh say, you want to know what's the reason they went fighting Sodom? To get Lot. Because they wanted to get Avram. They knew that if Lot is taken hostage, Avram is going to come right behind, and we're going to be, he is a problem to our conscience. He wants HaKadosh Baruch Hu and people to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We want the dark side to preside in the world. That's what they want. And so they decided to kill Avram Avinu. That's what they planned. But we see Avram Avinu was very well tooled in order to go fight those people. Why? Because it says in Tehillim, Im takum olai milchama, if comes up a war on me, bezois ani beiteach. In this, I trust. What do you mean this? This is, according to Dari HaKadosh, it's a word that's really composed by and means something else. I mean, this is Zayin because it includes the 7 midas, the 7 rikim, the 7 skies, the 7 Aleph, Saf, from Aleph to Saf. Everything is included, which is the Malchus, which is the Shechina. The Shechina includes all the powers of Shamayim have been given into the Shechina. So we don't fight, the Shechina will fight. And the truth is, if you calculate this pasuk, it comes out to 1,317, which is the Merkava, the chariot of the Shechina. Adam, Yechezkel says he had 4 faces, the face of a man, Aryeh of a lion, Nesher of an eagle, and a shore of a bull. This is the chariot of the Shechina. It calls exactly this pasuk. It calls exactly Shemen Sasain Mechaverecha, what the Zohar says about Avram Avinu. So Avram Avinu went the Shechina fought. I can't, it's unfortunate, we don't have the time, but I don't want to go into detail. It shows even in the pasuk and the HaKadosh how he proves why. You all know that midrash, that they were throwing arrows, it was turning into sand. Why would it turn into sand? Why sand bedavka? Why afar? Why, how did Avram fall? The midrash says he never took a sword, and he never carried a sword on himself ever in his life. So how did he fight? It's unfortunate we're not going to have. So I just want to keep on my point here of Tzedek. Midrash says, the Midrash Rabbi in Parshas Todah says something amazing. Ateres Zekenim Bnei Banim, the crown of elders is their grandchildren, and the pride of the children is their avoisam, their grandparents. And the Midrash points, you want an example? Yeah. So Reb Shmuel says, Avram was only saved from the furnace because of Yaakov. Only for the schus of Yaakov. 1 second. we just been describing probably the only man that's only gonna exist that has recognized HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that had dared Nimrod, that had jumped in. They didn't have to throw him. He jumped into the furnace. He didn't ask for anything. He jumped for HaKadosh Baruch Hu into the furnace. He had not received the Torah. He was not mechuyev. He jumped into the furnace. He did good with everyone. He spreaded the name of Hashem everywhere. He instilled into people in their heart the Yirah Shamayim. You want to tell me this person didn't have the merit to be saved from the fire? Oh, no. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, the three Nevi'im in Bavel, by Nebuchadnezzar, they had the merit to be saved. No. But Avraham Avinu, they didn't have the merit. He needed the merit of Yaakov Avinu. Makes no sense. The Midrash gives an example. Person was judged to be burnt. And then the king went to his astrologer and says, look into his future. And he saw that he would have a daughter that would marry the king. Whoa, he says, no, I can't do that then. I can kill him because of his daughter. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said when he saved him. The Midrash in Vayikra says even worse. Avram was only created by the schus of Yitzchak, of Yaakov. Very interesting. It gave me a lot of trouble to answer that question. A lot of trouble. However, I just want to jump to the conclusion because I don't want to keep you too long. They all came for the tikkun of Adam Arishon. Dari HaKadosh this week goes really, usually is very succinct in his vote. This week he went in sharp psukim, ballistic, explaining every corner at length, pages and pages. And he explains that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, I'm not going to explain how and everything, but I'm just going to give you the idea that, but if you would understand what's behind it and how is the tikkun of Adam, you would walk on the ceilings and dance from joy of understanding this stuff. Understanding how, this is the chet of Adam. You can see it with your eyes and understanding exactly the mechanism, how this chet will be repaired. So now you understand in life, this create this. This is a consequence of this, and this is how it works, and this is how I repair it. So anyway, so the Gemara says that actually it's a midrash in Parasha Vayechi, I think it is, that it brings the pasuk in Yeshua that Bnei Israel took the bones of Yosef. Asked the midrash, how is it the Bnei Israel? It's Moshe Rabbeinu. All of them were busy collecting gold and silver from the Mitzrim, because he says a mitzvah it's only called by the one who finishes it. The one who started it doesn't have the full merit of the mitzvah. The one who finishes it gets the full merit. He didn't do it all, he finished it. To finish something is important. To start something is good, but it's not the finality of and the purpose. So we see Bnei Israel in Bris Beis Avisarim, he was announced, Yaakov, Avram, that they're going to be 430 years. The Bnei Israel are going to be in Mitzrayim for 430 years. They're going to be enslaved. You take Avram, Yaakov, so Nefesh, so that was to correct the Nefesh of Adam Arishon. Nefesh equals 430. But you take Avram, Yaakov together, equals exactly 430. Who started the 430? Avram. Who ended up? Yaakov. He went there. That's why it's called on his name. That's why it's called on his zechus. Not that Avram was lacking. The proof being that the 4 kings fighting the 5 kings, the Ari HaKadosh will explain these are the Yetzer Hara. It's only an allegory about how the Yetzer Hara fights the person over time, different situations and different ages. And he goes on explaining all the, even Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera, Zichus Yagan Aleinu, explain all the different ages and how is the Yetzer Hara mutating. And how did Avram beat him? With the tzedek. What do I have left in my hand after a whole shir like this? I don't care if we don't remember anything. I do care that we remember the word tzedek. What is tzedek is 194. What is 194? Uchvoid Hashem olayich. Once you decide to go on the path of tzedek, the spirit of Hashem resides on you. Uchvoid 194 tzedek. Uchvoid Hashem olayich 194. Once you have the spirit of Hashem, you know, I'm not wondering anymore that Avram beat those kings. So it becomes untrivial to me, this question. It becomes like an Irish of a question. Doesn't even start. What starts is that magnificent Zohar I explained us and put us, you know, people, tzedek on one hand, not tzedek on the other hand. We should be zoiche or to embrace the midah of tzedek and be on the path of Avraham Avinu, alav shalom, and his chus should be oimed for us for anything and anyone in Am Yisrael needs. Have a great Shabbos.
Shabbos. Shkoyach.
Shkoyach, c'est magnifique.